welcome everybody to the Teacher Dudes halftime report for the special Thursday edition. And Mark, we should have a lot more points on the board right now than just 7.
Yeah, I think there were some wasted opportunities there.
The 2 of them, especially right at the end, and we'll get to that in a second. But first off, with this being a Thursday night, we don't have to worry about anything else in the league, which is kind of nice for once. And the Seahawks are up 7-3 at home against the Rams. And I am pleasantly surprised by our defense so far. They have held the Rams in check, only giving up a field goal. The score makes this game look a lot closer than it actually should be, but it is what it is. What are your early thoughts there, Mark?
Yeah, I think they've done a fairly good job at coming up with some big plays defensively when they need to. The Diggs interception at the goal line, probably the biggest play of the half as far as defensively. But I still think we've blown some chances to be successful and get some more points on. So I was hoping, by the way it looked like, to go into this half, with at least maybe 14-3 or 10-3 or 13-3, something like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. And speaking of that Diggs interception, here's the video on that one as Matt Stafford was looking to just throw the ball away.
2nd and goal. Stafford throws it, and it's picked by...
Now, I don't think that Stafford really expected Diggs to be there at all.
No.
So, that was good. But on the ensuing drive, this happened.
I think he's still mad. 2nd and 9. Gunned, broken up, and picked off. Ramsey made that play, and Reeder was there for the pick.
The good old tip drill, and that's why you play to the whistle. And really quickly, before we get to the other highlights, we have one Sue Laws watching us live right now saying hello.
Hello, Sue Laws.
We have a legend in the house.
That is true.
She is the magical myth, the legend, the one and the only Sue Laws. But speaking of another myth and legend, the Seahawks were able to get the ball back and drive down the field, and then DK Metcalf was able to do this to put the Seahawks up 7-0.
There it is. Touchdown, Metcalf.
And it's just another view of that, just because it's a cool view to see how much she muscled into the end zone there. And so far, the stats, I mean, they're fairly even. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at them yet. But passing, Matt Stafford has 131 yards to Russell Wilson's 133. Russell does have that one touchdown, but his first interception of the year. Rushing the ball, the Seahawks have 44 yards rushing. Alex Collins has been doing fairly well, although we did get him or DJ Dallas, can't remember who, got stuffed on that 4th down early on, compared to the Rams' 51 yards receiving. It does have a fumble in the stats for the Rams, but that was on that opening kickoff, which really nothing happened there. And then defensively, the Seahawks have 1 sack, and the Rams don't have any, which is another surprising stat. This time, it's usually about 4 or 5 sacks given up against the Seahawks.
Yeah.
And, we mentioned the score should be a lot higher. Right there at the end of the drive, or at the end of the half, the Seahawks did connect for a touchdown, but it was called back on a Dwayne Brown hold, which, being a lineman, I could see that play going either way. I see why they called it a hold. And then it was set up for a Jason Myers field goal, who has been Mr. Automatic, but he just missed it wide left.
Yeah, it's crazy, and just matter of inches. I mean, you think about the Dwayne Dwayne Brown hold there. I mean, I think if he let his hand go just a second sooner or a half a second sooner, they probably would not have called that. But he held it on there just a little too much, I guess, and then that took away that opportunity. And then just a few, feet to the left on someone who's been fairly reliable for over a year now, and this is the second week in a row where he's missed a field goal, right? Did he miss one?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy. I think you just lost 2 scoring opportunities there at the end of the half, and then earlier when we got stopped on the 4th and 2nd, I didn't really quite understand that play call. It was like basically the same thing you did on 3rd down, and you're going to run right at Aaron Donald 2 yards out.
It just doesn't make much sense.
Like, I'm okay with them going for that because that's a long field goal where it was.
Yeah.
But you got to come up with a better play than that. And you could see, like, when coming out of the timeout, you could see Wilson. He kind of didn't have the best look on his face.
No, he knew.
So he knew that, that wasn't the right call. And I was surprised he didn't try to, audible out of that. But I guess if the box was stacked for, it was probably, the number said to run it because of the amount of guys in the box, but still, I don't know. It failed the first time. Why is it going to work the second time?
Right. Yeah, no, I agree.
If you want, just go through and do a little play action off of that and have Wilson come around with a run play option around the other side. See what he can make, and I would be a lot happier with that. If he misses that, he doesn't get that, well, I still, I just don't think going back pretty much to the same exact thing is the best option.
No, you could add the play action and then have Lockett, doing the drag across the field and just roll out the opposite way. Really quickly before we get to a couple of comments here, looking at the stats, the one stat that I keep going back to, and Mark, I'm sure you know where I'm going with this, is the time of possession. And so far, the Seahawks have had the ball for only 10 and a half minutes compared to 19 and a half minutes for the Rams. So we're not having those sustained drives, even though we're up 7-3. And in looking at one comment here, we have another legend in the making. One Joyce Pendleton's commenting in that, Mark, so you think you're a sports announcer now? You're a soccer coach. We all have the SCS football team here right now. So I assume that's Sunnyside Christian football team over there. Are they still 8-man?
They are 8-man. They don't have a. When I went there, it was we just had a soccer program, no football program, and they came up with the football program, 8-man football program after I left. I don't know when it was sometime after I left, but I would have loved to play football if I had the opportunity back in high school. So I don't know what I'm talking about then. I'm just a soccer coach.
And the last comment here from one Craig Pentecost: what are the 2 biggest keys in the second half to get the win? I'm going to say one is to limit the Rams' time of possession. And Mark, what is yours before we go to the second half here?
I think if we just do a better job at finishing drives, I mean, that's really what it is. I mean, we've had some opportunities. We've moved the ball actually okay on the Rams, and we've pass protected pretty well. I think we can continue to exploit them down the field with those deep passes. Continue to have Lockett, mess with that other side. Not the Ramsey side, but the other side.
Right. Oh yeah, yeah.
And I forget the guy who he's on, but yeah, he can't cover Lockett.
No, Lockett's a squeaky one. Well, they just kick off the second half. the Seahawks have the ball, and we will be back post game. So until then, we will see you all later, and thanks for tuning in.